Welcome to the channel, everyone. That very happy scene was from New Year's Eve 2015. It's part of a video from Nicola Gissing, who is the very excitable young lady who just greeted her younger brother, James Gissing, and their mutual friend, Luke Miller, who was the shorter gentleman on the right of screen. Nicola had flown from Australia to Thailand to surprise James, and Luke was in on that surprise. Luke and James had travelled together from their home in the Isle of Wight in the English Channel and arrived in Thailand on the 22nd of December 2015. Just 8 days after the New Year's Eve surprise, Luke was found dead in the bottom of a swimming pool at the Sunset Bar on Sairi Beach, Koh Tao. I wish to extend my condolences to Luke's family, friends and work colleagues, in particular to his long-suffering mother Sarah Cotton and his siblings, and of course it must have been a holiday from hell for Nicola Gissing and James Gissing when they had to view the body shortly after Luke's death. Now, there are a couple of reasons I have produced this video at this time. Firstly, there is a very important book that is being published at present. It will be available to purchase through Amazon, and it will be available from the 15th of February 2022. I will have a link in the description below. The name of the book is The Curse of the Turtle, the true story of Thailand's backpacker murders, and the author is someone who's something of an expert on Koh Tao. Her name is Suzanne Buchanan. She was the founder of the Samui Times online news service, and she was also the owner and editor for many years, and she did in fact break many important stories about deaths and crime on the island. Secondly, there is a very important three-part documentary series which will be available from the 6th of March 2022 on Sky Crime in the UK, and it is called Death on the Beach, and it was produced by Blast Films. Ladies and gentlemen, as the image says, likes are always appreciated, as are constructive comments. All the Koh Tao murderers and rapists are encouraged to click dislike, as are their many supporters who wish to silence critics. Thank you. In late 2021, I produced a video as a tribute to 24 outsiders who had perished on Koh Tao. If you look carefully, you can see Luke Miller's face, two down from a red dot, the red dot having been used to symbolize a Japanese tourist by the name of Hiroshi, given that I did not have a picture of Hiroshi. Now, it seems quite clear that the Gissing siblings and Luke Miller were unaware of the many fatalities on the island, the many suspicious deaths and murders that had occurred before they set foot on the island. Before we look at some of the horrible discoveries about Luke's death, let's take a break and see how happy the three tourists were in Nicola's short video from New Year's Eve of 2015, back when they were oblivious to all the dangers that Koh Tao presents for the unwary.
Yeah. Just about to go and surprise my brother at heartfelt because I made that home. Yeah, I'm so excited! Which way do we go? Straight round the corner, babe. Right round the corner. So awkward holding this. I'm joking. I'm joking. Go, 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 go. Hey, wait.
what a difference 8 days can make for tourists who visit Koh Tao. The text at the bottom of the screen reads, a Facebook post from Nicola Gissing of the 9th of February 2016, 1 month after Luke Miller was murdered and 6 weeks after 2 Burmese scapegoats were sentenced to death. Those scapegoats were Zorlin and Waipio, who were convicted on bogus evidence for the murders of Hannah Witheridge and David Miller. Now, in that 1 month, Nicola Gissing had a vacation that went from joy to horror and fear, and in that time she was able to learn a great deal more about crimes that had been committed on Koh Tao. The message that she posted on Facebook on the 9th of February reads as follows. Nicola Gissing, I wish I had known about all of this before we visited Koh Tao. I have a feeling Luke would still be with us. I feel so sad for those poor boys, and I really hope that the lawmakers see what a mockery people think of their, quote, justice, unquote, system. Disgraceful. I have some interesting coincidences to bring to your attention now. The first relates to a Californian man by the name of Anthony Cardullo, also known as Tony Lotus, who was the owner and founder of the Lotus Bar on Sairi Beach, Koh Tao. And the second coincidence relates to David Miller, who died on Koh Tao on the 15th of September 2014. Okay, this first one looks like a mere coincidence, but in 2000 Anthony Cardullo left his hometown of Newport Beach, California, to visit Koh Tao, Thailand with a friend. Tony fell in love with the island paradise, so decided to stay. 13 years later he was dead. In fact, he had been threatened by the local Koh Tao Mafia and was found dead one day in his house. The coincidence is that Luke Miller came from Newport on the Isle of Wight and Anthony Cardullo came from Newport Beach in California. And I've made an entire video about Anthony Cardullo, which is available on this YouTube channel. The second coincidence involves David Miller, and there's just a small chance there might be something in this. Both Luke Miller and David Miller came from islands in the English Channel, and they both had the same surname. Now, another interesting sort of connection or nexus is the fact that the judgment in the murder trial against the 2 Burmese scapegoats over the murders of David Miller and Hannah Witheridge, that judgment was handed down on Christmas Eve of 2015. So it was only 2 weeks later that Luke Miller was found dead. Now, the interesting thing is that up until 1913, most Thai nationals did not have surnames. Only the very elite had surnames. But then the Surname Act of 1913 came into force and Thai started to get surnames. But the result of that was that most Thais who have the same surname tend to be closely related to each other. That's not always the case, but that's often the case. And it did occur to me that a lot of the thugs on Koh Tao, who are not very bright by the way, a lot of the thugs there may well have thought that Luke Miller could well have been related to David Miller, and perhaps Luke Miller had come to Koh Tao to seek revenge or seek vengeance for the death of David Miller. Now, that's a long shot, but it was just an interesting coincidence, and it's just an interesting possibility. Turning to some hard facts now, several people who actually saw Luke's body commented that based on the injuries he had received, it seemed quite clear to them that Luke had been in a fight. In contrast, the Royal Thai Police attempted to dismiss Luke's death as having been an accident, and they came up with the theory that it was an accident of his own making and that he had perhaps tried to climb onto a building and jumped off, hitting his head when he tried to jump into the pool. Some interesting aspects of that theory are that Luke did not actually like water and could not swim, and that is something which is mentioned in the book by Sue Buchanan, The Curse of the Turtle. I've also put up a series of text exchanges between Sue Buchanan, who is the author of that book, and a fellow by the name of Stephen Dryly, who was with Koh Tao Rescue. He was a volunteer. He's a British citizen, and the text in blue is from Sue Buchanan, and she wrote, "Miss Gissing talking to me most days." The response was, "What you want me to say? Did he hit his head while diving? No, unless he bounced off the bottom of the pool a few times." Then Miss Buchanan, "Wow, so she is right. It was foul play." Dryly, "Not sure. I don't think it was intentional. I think there was a fight. The police even asked us did we drop or disturb any evidence on his head." Sue Buchanan, "Ha ha. Did they really? Wow, because people who want to rescue people often drop victims." Dryly, "You see, we as rescue always protect ourselves. We have brains. We did not remove the body from the pool until ME was at the scene and together with about 30 other law enforcement people there. They are stupid. They did everything not to make this a murder case. They are still tarnished with the other case, so they are." So that was the text exchange. Now the interesting thing is that Stephen Dryly, according to Sue Buchanan, Stephen Dryly asked Sue to delete those text messages, and she said to Stephen Dryly that she had. However, she actually kept them, and sometime later Stephen Dryly maintained that Luke had died as a result of an accident and that the police version of events was correct, but Sue Buchanan embarrassed him by publishing those text messages on her Samui Times online news service. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that Stephen Dryly had actually been a medic in the British Armed Services, so one would hope that he would be a reasonably honest individual. Unfortunately, it appears that that is not the case. For example, when the Belgian lady Elise Delamagna was found in the jungle behind Tenote Bay on Koh Tao, Stephen Dryly maintained, quite falsely, that she had been found on another island. So that was some disinformation that had come from him. Secondly, he had maintained that when the Canadian mother of 3 by the name of Shelley Bott had been struck and killed by a water taxi taking a shortcut, he claimed that she and her partner were actually in a boat lane, but in fact she was in a designated swimming area. So unfortunately, Stephen Dryly is someone who is very happy to blame the victims on Koh Tao for their own misfortune, and he is quite happy to cover up for other people on the island. Ultimately, he did actually leave the island and he got a position with the British Embassy in Bangkok. Shortly before he died, Luke Miller made a comment on social media to the effect that he was living the dream there on Koh Tao. It is a comment that was certainly picked up by the international media after he died, and I also incorporated those words in lyrics to the music of House of the Rising Sun, and I will play that rendition for you now.
sun. Tide comes will blame the victim. Koh Tao, Mafia will as well. Or the frame to Burmese scapegoats still rotting in their hotels. Oh, yeah. Oh. Koh Tao in the Gulf of Thailand, Death Island of the setting sun, sees backpackers raped and murdered. Only God knows if you'll be one. Only God knows if you'll be one. Only God. For you, there'll be no more crying. For you, the sun will be shining, and I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. I know it's right. To you, I'll give the world. To you, I'll never be cold, 'cause I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. I know it's right. And the songbirds are singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before. And I wish you all the love in the world. But most of all, I wish it from myself. And the songbirds keep singing